everybody. Welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of Vape and Work Podcast with your boys, Rest Past Peach and Walt. And Peach, happy Thanksgiving, bud. How are you doing today?
Happy Thanksgiving, Peach.
Yeah, man. Peach is not here. I realized we forgot to text them saying that we were going to record this morning, but also when we initially sent out text messages about it, he did not respond with any morning times whatsoever. So
yeah, his idea. We said, and I will take the hit on this one. I could not record our usual Sunday night, so we said, "Hey, Peach, can you record during the day, any day during the week?" And then he picked Thanksgiving morning.
Yes, and I think you even called out in the text messages, except Thursday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's because we can't record Thursday. We got to go to the North Frankfurt game.
Obviously.
Oh,
I gotta sleep for a couple hours so I can eat way too much food.
Yeah, well, I'm doing that today and tomorrow and every day.
No.
So, so this is the... First off, Rustpace, how are you doing today?
Thank you. You remembered this time. I'm doing wonderful. This is episode 37 for those of you out there keeping count at home.
I was just about to ask.
Lucky number 37 for Thanksgiving.
37. I don't know. That was a terrible joke. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Oh man, yeah. So we went the easy way out for an episode this week and decided to do what we're thankful for in professional wrestling, I guess, over this past year.
Yes, and what we're thankful for, what's come out of this podcast, obviously.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna start off. I was gonna start off with that anyway.
Yeah.
And I forgot to actually look at the numbers, but thank you to everyone that downloads and listens. Like, it's cool. I say this every time. I feel like a broken record, but it really is.
Yeah.
It's cool to see all the downloads. We are currently at 1,389 downloads over 40 episodes. So very, very exciting.
That's even with a Survivor Series episode that we put out
on Survivor Series Sunday.
Yeah.
Was it Sunday? Yeah, it was Sunday.
And actually no promotion. If Podbean didn't automatically send it to my Twitter, it wouldn't have been out there at all.
Oh wow.
I was sleeping when this got posted, so I didn't even promote it either. So thank you for all 10 of you that downloaded an episode that had half of it was predictions from matches that happened the night before.
The funny thing too is, and this is what this was the episode that we messed up or had the most issues with getting out there. Which was awful. It was this is funny. Yeah. Out of everything, so we did we did an interview with Paul Laporte, that one went pretty smoothly.
Way more smooth. We were supposed to test out all this stuff before even doing it, and we never did. And we were supposed to have guest mock interviews. We never did that. We actually had a fantasy football draft before it. Could have very easily went on too long, and I had to go home to get work clothes and everything. It just
I forgot about that.
Yeah, there could have been a lot more things that went wrong with that and didn't.
Yeah, I'm actually, so while you're talking, I'm actually just looking to see what our most popular episode is.
Okay, well, while you do that, I will also say I'm thankful for all of you out there listening. Whether you're actually listening or just downloading it, it's still cool to see. At one point early on, to make us feel better, I was going across a bunch of platforms and downloading an episode here and there. And I haven't done that in a while, so it's nice to see the numbers jump without me doing it.
Yeah, and it's nice because Peachy doesn't download either, so...
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think our most popular episode is? Or do you know? Have you looked?
If I could look at... I said this to you, I think... Oh, man. It's not the... Is it the Hall of Fame one?
It is the Hall of Fame. So our Hall of Fame episode of Who Deserves to Be Inducted, episode 16...
That was after Vader
has 76 downloads.
Oh, it's up to 76 now. I think it was at 68 or something like that when I showed you. So that's still getting downloads. That was after Vader had passed, and we were talking about him possibly being inducted.
Yeah.
After it.
Our second most popular is the Omega Okada episode.
That's not a shock.
Yeah, that's I was very proud of that episode. I will say that.
Yeah, me too. You know what the best thing about that was is a lot of the stuff I think we go off of our memory. I mean, there's some episodes we've done a little bit of research. We know Peachy's never done anything, but that one we had like 3 layers to it. Jer seemed to have watched these matches a little bit more than you did. And I hadn't watched them at all. So we had like 3 completely different perspectives. Unlike when it's, you who have seen something, me who have read something, and Peachy who hadn't seen or read it.
Who might know the people we're talking about.
Yeah, there was at least 3, nice perspectives on it. And then Peachy just kind of nodded. That you could all hear him nod.
Yes. But no. And then to follow that up, we mentioned them. But, I want to thank all the people that have been on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The Paul Laporte interview was awesome. Greg from Repodcast and We Know Things. Fico, Culver from OP0909 and Friends.
OP and Friends.
I was going to say and the boys, but
it should be called the Friends of OP because it's basically Roy and Frank running that show.
Yeah, and we got to get Roy on. We got to actually, we've been just way too busy outside of here to schedule anything of
to make like some type of topic. A lot of the times it's something that just happened and we come up with it, and the holidays too. This is where we're going to have all types of fun. Why we've had back-to-back weeks of not recording at the correct time.
Yeah, this next, but thank you to those guys, and again thank you everyone for listening.
Hey, thank you, Greg Hall. We podcast and we know things.
I said him already.
Did you? I was not.
Yeah,
listening.
He was the first one.
I think you said Paul Laporte.
Paul Laporte, then Greg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure I did.
And Fico from LaSalle TV.
Yes. Philly Sports Talk.
Yeah.
I still have his debut episode saved on my computer somewhere.
I believe Greg was on that show at one point too. Yeah. So.
Greg gave it to Fico when he was done. Fico gave it to Greg, kind of, I think. So.
But Roy, just so you know, I know you heard Walton say it, there is a spot in the background of our banner that is waiting for you. Just let you know. That's why there's that little empty slot next to Greg, next to me. That's for you when you come on.
And Roy, if you somehow have, so that I like the designs Mike does for it, and he calls out specific shirts. If you somehow have a Mickey Mouse in a wrestling shirt or something like that.
The Mickey Mouse ears or the wrestling shirt would be nice.
It'd be perfect.
Yes.
Perfect for Roy.
Yeah.
So, now to step back away from, jerking ourselves off at great job with the podcast.
Oh, I never said we did a great job. I'm just thanking those who have to listen to our rambling.
Yeah, but so I wanted to move away from talking from the podcast, and I used the most awkward way possible.
Well, since you cut me off when I was saying this, all I was going to say was I actually found out about a week or 2 ago that some people I had no clue have ever listened to this, listened to it. So it was nice to hear. Actually, I got some feedback from Josh, actually, and he said the episodes are too short. Apparently, he listens to Joe Rogan, and he wants us to be 17 hours long an episode. I told him we go about a half an hour over what we expected to every time.
Yeah. And he didn't make fun of me at all?
Oh, no. He told us that we suck.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure
he
said Peachy was like the best part of it, but...
Okay, good. I just want to make sure Josh hasn't changed. Thank you, Josh.
He told us we need to get better, and I said...
I think that's been my most constant feedback.
We're trying to regress, not progress. We're trying to see how bad we can get over time.
Yeah. So, let's go into the wrestling world. So, Mike, what are you thankful for in the wrestling world today? Let's try to do like 3 things.
All right. So we're going to go in the wrestling world today, or like. See, one of my things was actually the Omega Okada feud in general, and it was thank the podcast in general. Like, doing this podcast, I don't know that I would have ever seen those matches. So, in general, I was thankful for that as a whole. Us even doing that episode, them having a 4th match, because I would have never seen them. And I can admit that as a, I don't know if you want to call me a fair weather wrestling fan. I knew who they were. I just never seen them wrestle. So I was thankful for that episode because it got me to see, 4 fantastic matches.
Yeah, I was going to say more. I was going to specifically say the probably Omega Okada 4 match, just because I think in my mind it's one of, if not the best, just pure wrestling match I've ever watched.
Right.
It was incredible, and it just got me into the whole Omega Okada saga. Has got me more into like New Japan and Ring of Honor. Just because now I feel more invested in it to where, I want to wake up early for, these certain pay-per-views, or, I see what time I'm waking up. I'm like, all right, let me see if I can catch the end of the match. I had a subscription to New Japan World for, a couple months. Right. Ring of Honor, I had the Honor Club with them, and I would just watch their pay-per-views. And, like, that was kind of the gateway for me to get into watching more kind of, like, the quote-unquote indie-style wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, like, I don't even know if I consider Ring of Honor and New Japan indie wrestling. Like, to me, they're just, like, they're the tier 2 of kind of the professional wrestling.
Yeah.
To where, like, if you're in those organizations, they're the new WCW and ECW of the world today.
Yeah, and I would say more ECW and ECW, but yeah.
What'd you say?
I would say more ECW and ECW, but yeah, I get your point.
But yeah, like to where it's like, if there are wrestlers in there, they're not indie. They still are independent wrestlers, but they're big names. But those, I agree with that. It got me more into watching those style of matches.
Right. Actually, speaking of that, and I'll talk to you about this on here because it's related to the podcast. One thing I'm hoping for us to get to, possibly when we start this predictions thing back over, and maybe we'll, I think we already spoke on WrestleMania kind of being the end and then starting after it.
Well, you know what they say in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Was to possibly include a couple of these others and have like their big show events predicted too. Maybe we won't have episodes on it, but we'll put them online. I have a nice little thing going right now where I'm going to try to get it all kind of organized for us. So hopefully by then we'll be at the point where we're doing like ROH, New Japan, maybe Impact, throw them in there.
Yeah, I want to do most likely predictions for I can't think of the name. Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay.
Because I'm at the point to where I'll wake up to watch that in the morning now.
Right. But right now we're kind of WWE centric when it comes to our predictions. That's because that's what we know, and I feel like we'll get used to that, and then we'll kind of move on to the other stuff. Hopefully by next year, where we're. To be honest with you, I don't watch the WWE pay-per-views, and I still make predictions. I don't watch Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I still make predictions. I could read their results just as easy as I can read Raw and SmackDown. So
yeah. What you do, man? Did you hit yourself?
Hit my foot.
Yeah. I'm thankful, just as a side note, I'm thankful Mike wore his 76ers pajamas this morning.
Yes.
As a throwback to getting ready for WrestleMania 32.
Going and coming home, I'm pretty sure. Didn't I wear them on the way home?
I have no idea. And
I didn't wash them either.
That's not surprising. Yeah. I'll do kind of a blatant one. I'm thankful for Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
So I was gonna say this. I was gonna open up the episode with this. So, did you see their Survivor Series match?
Yes.
So here's what I'll say. This is my comparison. So when Kurt Angle came into WWE, well, I don't even know what year it was. 98, 99. We were young, and I didn't, fully understood how, wrestling worked, things like that. Right. The whole process of it. And now that I'm older and have appreciation, like I didn't realize Kurt Angle hadn't been doing this his entire life and was only like training for like a couple months to a year before doing his debut, and he's one of the all-time best. He's so fun to watch, and like I remember watching all those matches growing up,
right.
Like just really enjoying Kurt Angle. Then as I got older and kind of followed, the industry more, and then you hear these stories about how he was just so natural at it, you have a greater appreciation for him.
Yeah.
We're seeing the same thing now, I think, with Ronda Rousey. The Ronda Rousey match with Charlotte at Survivor Series was one of the best. Like, it was an amazing match.
Yeah.
It was like I read something to where it was basically the same that was Becky's match, except they just replaced Becky with Charlotte. So like I don't know about that, but that match was awesome. It sets up the story possibly going forward for WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey has it, and she's invested in it. Like, she cares. Like, she got busted open within 5 minutes in that match and kept going.
Yeah.
If she was a true kind of celebrity wrestler and didn't care at all or whatever like that, she would have stopped the match. Like, she would have just kept going, and it could, like, I saw the blood, and I'm just like, oh man, this match is just gonna get ruined because like she's gonna call it and things like that. No, they kept going. They beat the shit out of each other, and that was the match I expected, and it exceeded expectations for me, I think.
Right.
But I'm thankful for Ronda because this. I don't mean this to sound bad. Like this, it's a weird way of saying. I don't know the exact way to say it, but women's wrestling was doing phenomenal. Like, they were actually, being respected, and they were actually producing the higher quality matches, compared to the men and things like that. And they deserved their day in the spotlight. I don't think they would have fully got it. Like, I don't think you would have had this Evolution pay-per-view if Ronda Rousey wasn't involved in it because of the name value.
You might have.
What'd you say?
I tend to agree with that.
Just because like it was the name value that she brought to the division, and it's not just like a cheesy name value, like a I like, again, it's not somebody that's just in there to barely wrestle or
right.
like take like a bump or anything. Like, she's really going at it and trying it, and she is living up to the expectations or exceeding expectations, I think, even in my mind, of what we're getting out of her. And hell, she wrestled the next night on Monday Night Raw against Mickie James. I did not see that match, but the fact that I saw that she wrestled and she just didn't take a night off just shows how invested and truly she cares about what she's doing. Right. And so, like, I am generally thankful for that because I think it's giving the women's division the recognition that it needs for it's not just being girls in bikinis out there flaunting, showing their tits and stuff like that. They're actually putting on damn good matches and telling good stories.
Yeah. It sucks that the crowd booed her.
I loved it. I loved it.
I thought it sucked in a sense because I heard somebody compare this to, and this is garbage. This is a garbage comparison. They compared it to The Rock when The Rock first started as Rocky Maivia because they felt like he was getting pushed. They felt like he was getting pushed out there because of who he was and not because he worked at it. And it's bullshit. And I'm going to say it's bullshit purely because Rousey worked at something to get where she is. It's not like she was some TV star that just showed up and is getting put in main events, because of the name value. She did work as a mixed martial artist. And I don't care what anybody says about her. She was the biggest thing in UFC for a while. And I've realized that she kind of got knocked out of it and stuff, but she was a huge wrestling fan before it. It's not like she's coming into this as like, well, my UFC career is done. What else can I do? She was a huge fan and a known huge fan before it ever happened. So for like the crowd to kind of, and I felt like they got on her because, Roman Reigns isn't there to boo, so now Ronda Rousey's there. I think it's unfair. I think she may not have worked her way up in WWE, but to be honest with you, who would believe it? Who would believe it? It's no different than Brock Lesnar getting a title shot right away in UFC. The dude's a fucking beast. Why are you going to feed him a bunch of guys that are low level? Especially with his age, he's older. And WWE, I'm sure, is thinking the same thing. Ronda Rousey, she's not some 20-year-old coming in here that can work her way up. She's you know, I'm
doing an age check for you. She's 31.
I was going to say she's low 30s. I think we looked at this before because Shayna Baszler was a couple years older than her.
We're in the same year as me. How about that?
But like
we have very similar career paths, obviously.
And you don't know how long she's going to want to stay. Who knows if she gets the MMA itch back. So you have to get everything you can out of her right now while she's got the passion for the business and all this other stuff, because that might eventually fade. You have to take advantage of it. So it makes sense to give her the title, because giving her the title puts the spotlight on other people. Charlotte and Becky Lynch, their stars are only growing bigger because of their interactions with Ronda Rousey. And it'll only be that way for everybody else around them. Around her.
I definitely agree. And it's a crappy way, but it's bringing spotlight in the right manner, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, if she was going out there, like you said, if she was going out there, if it was like Nikki Bella wrestling main event matches with Charlotte, and no offense to Nikki Bella, I know Nikki Bella's a okay performer in the ring. I think she gets shit on more than she probably should, but she shouldn't be a main event talent for them either. Not with the women that they have.
Exactly.
But she has a little bit of celebrity value, a little bit, that can bring in people outside of wrestling to watch wrestling. It's not like she's in there putting on 30-minute matches with Charlotte. You know, you have an actual athlete in there, you know, competing against these women, and honestly, just flat out, I mean, she's not great on the mic. She's only going to get better.
But, yeah, she has to improve. That's where, and it's, like that, you could tell she's improving, and but the name value was too big to put her down in NXT to learn. So she's learning all this all on the fly. But it's what I think the women's division needed, to really push them over the top. And I think it's pushing them over the top in the correct manner. Like you said, you don't have a celebrity coming in there that's barely wrestling, and you're annoyed with their matches. And they're only getting kind of pushed because of the celebrity.
Yeah.
Ronda's putting on great matches. Yeah. She's putting on matches of the night. That was probably match of the night at Survivor Series.
Yeah, those last two, I was afraid for the Lesnar Bryan match, and I love what they did with it. I thought it was as perfectly done as it could have been. And the one thing I will say, you thanked Rousey. I'll say thank you to Rousey and Brock Lesnar for that pay-per-view, because Rousey let Charlotte beat her the fuck up, and she had marks to prove it. Brock Lesnar had a fucking shoe print on his face the whole goddamn match. Or literally from the point that Bryan started stomping on his face, that shoe print was still there at the end of the match. When he's walking up the ramp, there's still a shoe print there. And Lesnar was telling him to actually kick him, but that's what you get in them too. I know the thing about Lesnar is he's not around, and I would love for him to be around more. But you get shit like that where he allows Daniel Bryan to hit him as hard as possible. He allows him to kick him directly in the face and to show a shoe print like that. That makes it look way better when you have anybody willingly letting them do stuff like that.
Listen, the whole, aftermath of the Ronda Rousey-Charlotte fight was, Rousey let her beat the shit out of her with a kendo stick and all that stuff. My biggest thing was her getting elbowed in the jaw and, just gushing blood. I thought she might have lost a tooth, legitimately.
Right.
And she kept going. Because that was relatively early on in the match. And she kept going with no real hiccups. She's evolving in the ring, and you're watching her evolve. But, again, I think, that was the perfect name value to help elevate this division to where it needs to go. And hopefully we are still on track for the main event of WrestleMania. And especially with this, it might be a triple threat match now, is what they're saying, is Becky, Charlotte, and Rousey. And that's... I would like a one-on-one match, personally.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm not going to be disappointed at this one.
Right.
So that was so. Okay. What else you got?
Well, speaking of, you spoke more on the two women. I'm going to go to the other one. I'm actually thankful for not only just Becky Lynch, but also Tommaso Ciampa, and specifically their Twitters. I'm thankful for WWE to allow them. I'm assuming it's them run their own Twitter, because it is amazing. And I'll even go one step further and say I love the fact that they allow Velveteen Dream to, what I'm assuming is, have freedom over his outfits on NXT TakeOver, because I'm not going to stay on that as much, but that was awesome with him coming out with the Hollywood Hogan stuff. It was great. And then the OVA instead of NWO, the OVA and Dream Over. Oh, it's so good.
It was good. And then he did the whole leg drop motion. Oh yeah, the sequence that like.
And I know he's done Hogan before, but this time being in LA, having the Hollywood Hogan, it was...
Well, and that's what he did. He switched it up. It was the Hollywood Hogan, and it was. I can't believe he's 23.
Yeah, now
this is like it's
he's going to be huge for them if they if he sticks with it and they keep him around. He's going to be huge for them.
And I'm at the point to where I don't know what else he needs to work on.
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks smooth in the ring. His mic skills are impeccable. They are so good. I don't know how you can keep him down in NXT anymore, but I don't know. The main roster is not going to get him whatsoever.
No, not at all.
Not a single bit.
He might be one of those guys. Remember I said that Triple H referred to possibly keeping guys in NXT because they view it as a third brand. He may be one of those guys that stays down there and becomes a long-time champion for them as other guys move up. He may be one of them.
He could, but I think he also just deserves his time in the spotlight as well.
Yeah, but that spotlight's going to be very small on the main roster.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, but I don't know.
But I will speak on what the original was with Ciampa and Becky Lynch. For those of you who have not seen either one of those Twitter, you're missing out. Becky Lynch with this whole Ronda Rousey calling her Ronnie, and the Funko Pops came out with a Ronda Rousey Funko Pop, and she replied to them and said I already own Ronda Rousey.
I did not see that.
Oh my god! Well, you have to. I know we were talking about this before. You have to go look at everything *both of them post. It's great. Ciampa is such an old man put an @ instead of the @ funny. Symbol. It's so great. They're both so great. Ciampa what was it, after his match with Velveteen? He put "Don't worry" @ Dave Meltzer 1 or whatever his thing is. And he put, I got this, and he put 7 stars or something like that. It's so great when they announced the top 50 or whatever. Was it top 50, top 100? The Pro Wrestling Insider.
Oh, PWI?
Yeah, he put who his top 10 should be, and it was different variations of his name. It was Tommy Entertainment, Tommaso Ciampa, myself. It's so great.
The one Becky Lynch tweet, Ronnie, TLDR, when I got my face broke, I got up, owned you, then showed up the next day looking to fight some more. When you got your face broke, you hid for a year under your blankie. Your mind is weak as your jaw, and I'm going to move heaven and earth to come destroy them both.
See, that's Twitter is going to keep her. I don't know how long she's out, but
in Twitter jail, because that's literally all she's referring to as.
Twitter is going to keep her relevant, even if WWE won't. If WWE will not mention her, show her, whatever. If they won't continue to promote her, Twitter.
Oh, they will. Twitter, just because
I'm sure they will. But I'm saying, sometimes they get, especially now with Charlotte.
They didn't strip her of the belt yet, so that's good.
Yeah. But I depending on what happens, especially if they do strip her of the title, she might go away for a little bit, but she'll keep herself relevant on Twitter unless she's a surprise entrant for the Rumble. That's the only way I see her kind of going away for a little bit. But yeah, between her and Ciampa, oh my god, their Twitter, tweets are amazing.
Johnny Wrestling equals the best technical wrestler alive. Aleister Black equals the best striker alive. Velveteen Dream, Prodigy, and I beat them all. Ciampa equals the greatest sports entertainer of all time. Blackheart equal GOAT.
That's what you get on Twitter with Ciampa.
I just read at Dave Meltzer WON. The champ will take care of this one for you, and he gave it 5 stars.
Oh, he gave it 5 stars. Okay, I wasn't sure if he did more, but yeah, I know. That's just a little preview of what you get from their Twitter.
Man, I think that's something to be thankful for too, just because of it gives you a good balance between, again, wrestling and the sports entertainment world.
Right.
Because if I want to again, Survivor Series weekend, I watched a majority of NXT live. I was hungover, so I fell asleep during the 2 Ciampa Velveteen Dream and the War Games match. But I watched them the next day. But the wrestling on there, Gargano versus Black was incredible.
It was.
And every time one of these takeovers comes over, it's like a debate. Well, was this the best one I've ever seen? It's usually up there. And this one, they keep on setting the bar and meeting that bar or exceeding it each NXT. And I'm waiting for a failure. At some point there has to be a flop, right?
Yeah, I think so. Eventually,
there has to be.
I will say I was a little tad disappointed with Sane and Baszler. I know you're talking about the card as a whole.
Yeah.
That match I felt was too short for a 2 out of 3 falls match, especially the way that they mentioned that it was going to get extra time.
What it did was, and this is what I don't think you don't like it when they do it at WrestleMania, is it set up a storyline. It set up a 3-on-3 tag match with,
and it could have done that 15 minutes longer.
Yeah, it could have. It was good though. It was
good. It was just the matches they've had. I expected more out of it. I told you I expected that to be the match at night, so maybe my expectations were too high for it, and that was why I was disappointed. But I felt like it needed a little bit more time.
Yeah, I think I said War Games was going to be my match of the night, and Dream Black ultimately I think was.
Dream Black?
I'm sorry, Black Gargano.
And I actually thought Ciampa Dream was better.
Yeah. War Games I think it lost. Listen, I'm glad they brought back War Games.
Yeah,
I like the way
that match in itself is. It's almost going to be good just because of the match. I don't think the wrestlers in it have to be as good.
No, it's a spot fest.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have one of those, and it's done right, I feel. And it's different. It's something completely different than what the main roster has. And then it's also, what the hell was I going to say? I like the little changes they made. It's an open cage. So you do get, you're able to get that Ricochet...
Right.
Double moonsault off the fucking top of the cage.
Yeah. And I don't remember, and I did not go back to watch the first one to see if this was the case, which it probably was not because there was 3 teams. But I liked how they emphasized if you escape the cage,
they did
you lose.
They did emphasize it during the first one.
Well, see, how? If somebody escapes the cage,
their whole team's disqualified.
And then they just continue with the match? It wasn't an elimination match.
It said it continued the match.
Really? Again, I didn't remember it, and I didn't go back and look at it, but I felt like it was emphasized. I felt like they emphasized a little bit to point out because they knew that spot was coming up with when they were trying to basically push Ricochet off the top.
Well, Adam Cole did the same thing at the last War Games match, except it was him and Roderick Strong, and they did the suplex off of the top rope. So
it shows you how much I remember the first one.
Yeah, Adam Cole doing because he also did the Adam Cole Bebe from the top of the.
I think I do remember that part.
Yeah, he was sitting on the side, and did it up, because he did it twice in the last match. I think he only did it once in this one. So, yeah, no, their Twitters are pretty great. I just like that, it's when WWE lets them have a little more freedom.
Yeah.
And speaking of freedom, this is the last thing I'm probably thankful for. And if you're listening to this and you haven't watched it, it's worth the binge watch. Being the Elite. Holy shit, that show is hilarious. Are you watching it at all?
I have not watched an episode yet.
They get it. And this is so what's going on now is, just to give you just spoilers or anything like that, is so there are all the rumors floating around is that all these guys' contracts end basically January 1st. And the storyline is Marty Scurll is having a party January 1st, but none of these guys can commit to it because they don't know what they're doing on January 1st. You have Cody Rhodes in a trance now, just basically relaying WWE facts. All this stuff that Michael Cole says, and that's on the banners, right. In between, SmackDown's the second highest rated episodic TV series or something like that. It's hilarious. You have they're getting notes from what was the one? It was maybe you'll make a surprise appearance in Phoenix, and the notes from H. The Royal Rumbles in Phoenix. Or, I like your style. I forget what the notes said, but they are hilarious. They did a whole angle of Adam Page killing Joey Ryan, and had that culminate at All In,
right,
where Joey Ryan returned with dick druids. It's the ridiculous part of wrestling that is the entertainment value, I guess, if you want to put it in sports entertainment.
Yeah.
It's the entertainment value, and it's just so funny. And these guys are just so good. Their character develop, it is incredible. It's so much fun. And it's not even that. Then it's also paired with just the backstage stuff of, they're doing these kind of scenes, and, with SCU, or not SCU, that's what their name is, SoCal Uncensored, yeah. Or, yes, SCU. But they also mix it in with some of the backstage stuff where you see the lines for the autograph signings, they're at the Pro Wrestling Tee store and all that fun stuff. And it is just such a glimpse into kind of the backstage working of more of these indie style promotions and things like that. And it's really fun. And they're 15, 20 minutes once a week. So it's definitely worth watching to binge watch some of them. I think I forget which season. They just started season 2.
Okay.
Of it, and it's great. It's
how many episodes of the season?
I think their first season was 52.
Okay,
it was basically
they do it
one
every
a week.
week.
Yeah, they just kind of did a season finale or something like that to restart it new. Let me pull up and see how many episodes they actually have.
I have Opie and Friends episodes to get caught up on. That's my latest binge. Now that I am officially up to date on We Podcast and We Know Things, Opie and Friends was my next venture of starting from the beginning.
So they're up to episode 126. They did a Halloween special. They showed so the Jericho Cruise was a couple weeks ago. They did kind of an episode on that.
Right.
I think that was their Halloween episode, and it was fucking hilarious.
Was that the match? I did see pictures about the match where it was
they were all dressed as the Mario characters.
Yeah.
They showed some of that. Kenny Omega's in there pissed because he's Toad. He wanted to be a princess. Oh my god. So that I'll say I am very thankful for being the Elite. Just the comedy, it's the entertainment part of wrestling, and they do a very good job of it, I think.
All right.
So, do you have anything else?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm not thankful for, but as far as being thankful, we'll stick with thankful. Maybe next episode will be what we're not thankful for.
I'll say this: I'm thankful for Peachy to show up every week.
Oh yeah. I'm thankful that Peachy has not missed more episodes.
The one thing. So we also said during this we were going to predict what Peachy's thankful for.
Yeah. So let's get on to Peachy's. I got number one. I know Peachy's number one thankful. It has to be number one. It's the end all be all. He is thankful that he has still not gotten shot with paintballs yet.
I was going to bring something like that up just because we're both lazy. Oh man. Oh, as a side note, because I'm going through the Being the Elite episodes, and during the build up to All In, Marty Scurll was going to face Kenny Omega, or not Kenny Omega, Okada, Kazuchika Okada, and they just kept on ragging on him because he was a cruiserweight, and Okada at some point just go to 205 Live, like just something like it. It is hilarious. But yeah, Peachy's grateful that I'm lazy, and I'm just like have no ambition to set the rig up for how to record it in a proper manner. I don't want to half-ass it.
Yeah.
Again, I have a drone, at least one GoPro. I think Peachy has one as well.
So we're getting different angles, is what you're saying?
I was going to
videos out.
It wasn't going to be just like someone on their cell phone recording. I have like 2 or 3 tripods in my room that I kind of bought. Let me see if I can find the one to show you. I bought legitimate stuff to do this.
I want you wearing a GoPro and him wearing a GoPro.
I do have the chest mount.
There you go.
But
is going to end up being like episode 100 when it finally gets done? Maybe it probably ain't happening, but let's shoot for 50. We got 13 more episodes.
Yeah, that actually would be a good time. Probably.
It'll actually be probably right before the WrestleMania predictions too. It'll fall right in line with right before WrestleMania, and then Peachy can make another dumbass bet during those predictions.
Yeah. So, I don't even know. I don't even know what else Peachy would be
thankful for 2 very awesome co-hosts.
I was trying to think also, I was like, any of the tickets I had, I've asked Peachy to go to them. He couldn't go to them, so it's not like he got free wrestling tickets out of me. And I also couldn't go to 2 of the wrestling events that I bought tickets for this year. Did you end up going to the Ring of Honor one?
I had the seizure, didn't I?
Oh, I wasn't sure. Yeah, sorry. But
yeah.
I forgot if you were sick for that or not. But
I was sick. I had a seizure.
Yeah. Culver got to go to those, the Ring of Honor one on me. Culver did bail out on me though on the what was it? Not PW Evolve.
Yeah.
I was supposed to, but he was sick. And then I was at the bar that night, and his mom was there, and his mom FaceTimed him in. And so...
We're thankful for Jared's mom.
Yeah, I'm always thankful. I don't know what else Peachy would be thankful for.
Well, Kofi Kingston.
Well, yeah, that's a standard. Actually, I just watched the video from last night on SmackDown, Kofi calling them out about... so for Survivor Series, the rumor has it is Vince McMahon wanted Raw to go 7-0.
Yeah.
And whoever produced the tag team match on the pre-show got mixed up, and SmackDown won it. And so they didn't acknowledge that SmackDown won it because it wasn't on the main show.
Yeah.
So Xavier Woods he was dressed as a pilgrim, but he had a 6-1 on it, and then Kofi Kingston come out the line, we're the 1 and 6-1. I'm like, that's brilliant.
It's funny when it comes to that, and I have been saying over and over again, it's going to go down to 3-2. 3-2. It's going to be 3. Well, I figured 4-3, I guess, right? Because there were 7 matches. Yes. I kept saying that it's going to come down to the last match. It's going to come down to the last match, and then when they won basically 3, and they weren't acknowledging the first one, I was like, they're going to tie. Yeah, that's what's going to end up happening. They're going to end up tying. Yeah. And then they won the 4th one. And all I'm thinking is, what the fuck is this? Like, what the hell is this? And then you start realizing they're going to have it be a sweep. And I just wish that, like, and I know Charlotte was going to beat Rousey, but, like, somehow Rousey got disqualified in that match and Charlotte won. To the point that it ended up being 5-1. Because it makes it, like, less predictable. Like, once it hit a certain point, you knew they were going to sweep. Once they were not acknowledging SmackDown at the beginning, and they went 4-0, you knew they were going to sweep. I mean, you already assumed those two matches anyway. You assumed Rousey was going to win and Lesnar was going to win. So at that point, you were like, all right, they're just going to sweep it. So I actually thought, watching that match, that Daniel Bryan might have actually won.
I was
to basically be like the savior for SmackDown at the end of the night, and that was supposed to be it. So now, not only did he beat AJ Styles, he beat Brock Lesnar, but now he's the only one on the SmackDown roster that can win at Survivor Series. And I thought it was just going to play up this whole big thing with that. So it did put a little bit of intrigue. Like, are they really going to have them sweep? But I don't know. I wish I'm waiting for like a 4-2 where it's like, ooh, you know, it doesn't come down to the end, but it's also not a sweep.
Yeah, and there was no build up to like a stipulation to where, you know, if you lose your match, you're going to get fired, or you're going to get stripped of your, well, not titles, or stripped of your title, or something like that. Like, there was nothing hanging over them to where, like, a 4-2 scenario would still make sense.
Yeah, and that's what they maybe have to look into next year. I mean, I would love. I seen all those ideas of NXT, you know, and I think I may even send it to you. With the whole, like, NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown. And they were going down the list and showing you what those triple threats would have been this year. If they don't go that route, which they won't because War Games will still fall then, and it doesn't make sense for them to do it, then they need to add something like that, where, like, you have to defend your title on Raw the next night if you lose. You have to defend your title on SmackDown on Tuesday if you lose. You know, something like that. To make it like that they're not just fighting for pride for their show. Because let's be honest here, they move around so fucking easily that, like they were saying, oh, the bar is wrestling for, they're wrestling for SmackDown. They were competing for Raw last year. Like, don't you realize how asinine that sounds? That they were competing for the other show last year, and they're supposed to be here with this huge SmackDown pride.
Yeah. So how do we get into that? Because Peachy was thankful for Kofi Kingston?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what else he would be thankful for. I can certainly look, because I just pulled it up, not his fantasy football team record. I'm actually a little worried in that now, because I might not win the division. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah, I've been falling down. I put Todd Gurley on the trading block. Just saying.
Well, if you pay for my league fees, I'll trade you.
That's everybody would love that. Pico traded him to me last year. I traded him to you this year.
Yeah. So, I got nothing else really. So, and I also have to get to work now soon too. So,
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to call out, be thankful for? We hope you're enjoying this instead of the North Frankfurt game tomorrow morning.
Yeah. This is how you should start your Thanksgiving, and I will make sure you know that. Everybody will know that in the promotion of this episode. But I mean, once again, just thank you to those who are listening. Yeah. What we have, I know it's only 37 episodes, but it will say 41 on the website when this gets posted because of our
how we broke up our predictions.
Yeah, the prediction episodes kind of had jumped it a little bit, but at 41 episodes, if you told me we were at 400 or 410, let's say average of 10 at 40 episodes, I think I would have been happy.
If you told me we were still doing this at 40 episodes, that we somehow, again, it still blows my mind that the biggest issues we ran into was the Survivor Series predictions.
And that was all because of SmackDown. If SmackDown didn't fuck everything up, it would have been out.
We could have released that episode.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this now, leave a comment down below if you want us to release our original Survivor Series predictions that were recorded before SmackDown, because I saved the audio.
It'll be the secret unreleased episode of Vaporware Podcast. It's sitting out there.
Yeah, will be our bonus episodes if you want to listen to that.
Yeah. If we get enough people, like 5 people saying they want to hear it, maybe we'll post it.
Hell, if Fico responds saying I want to hear it, it's getting posted. Okay.
Wait a second. Okay. If Peachy responds to this and says he wants it, I'm deleting everything else. We're just putting that up there by itself.
That's just going to be the episode. Okay. Oh man, but yeah. So I guess next week we going to be back to our normal recording schedule next week.
You said one of these Sundays you couldn't do it. Is it next week?
Yeah, it's next week. Yeah. No, not this weekend.
Not this Sunday. It's the Sunday after.
Yeah, it's the Sunday after.
It is possible.
Nice.
It's
good.
It's possible.
We'll get hopefully we get the whole gang back together.
I was going to talk if we could possibly maybe even try to do it earlier on Sundays.
We'll take that offline.
But no
need to bore the audience with our.
We'll discuss if maybe a little bit of a time change if we can.
We'll figure it out. But just to get it out, just so I can get to work on time and not get yelled at. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving, if you celebrate it. If not, happy Thursday. I think hopefully I'm going to get this out on Wednesday. If not, it will be in your inbox first thing Thursday morning.
Yeah, it should be early Thursday too. This shouldn't be sent out.
It should not be, but we saw how Survivor Series
It'll be 7 a.m. Thanksgiving morning.
Okay. I might actually leave it at that one. It gives me a little bit more window.
No, do it today.
Oh, all right. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Hope you have a good one. We will catch you next week. Later, guys.
Thank you, Peachy.
Let's Go Pikachu's not that bad of a game.
Neither is Let's Go Eevee.
Gotta catch them all.